Breaking moments ago, the Supreme Court with a decision that will allow the Trump administration to move ahead with their plans to cut the federal workforce, at least for now. Justice correspondent David Spott, give us the backstory here, reporting live from Washington. Hi, David.
Hi, Martha. A nice Tuesday afternoon win for the Trump administration. And it's funny because the justices normally are on their summer recess right now. Doesn't mean they don't work behind the scenes, but these justices have been busy because of these executive orders and the way they've made their way through the legal process. But this right now is a order from the Supreme Court essentially saying that a San Francisco judge who put a stop to the Trump administration from cutting several federal agencies, they're saying that the Trump administration, in fact, right now can continue forward as the case plays out.
Welcome to Podpinions, where the world's on fire, and we show up like it's a backyard barbecue. Politicians roasted, woke trends torched, common sense, we've got you covered.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Podpinions.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Bruce.
And we have a bunch of stuff.
That's right. Oh, there is never-ending amounts of stuff that we can give our opinion on, is there?
No, our Podpinion.
Right.
So today, the Supreme Court let Trump go for it with his little wrecking ball and cut some of these government jobs.
Okay.
So the Government Employees Union. So the Supreme Court today allowed Trump to move forward, at least for now, with plans to implement large-scale cuts to the federal workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And the lefties are going nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's I understand the argument about the jobs, but all these jobs are taking our tax dollars.
Right.
So if you have people that are not performing and we're paying for them, out you go.
Well, evidently a lower court had an injunction against the administration's executive order. Trump evidently signed an executive order to make these cuts, and some lower court said, nah, you can't do that. So there was an injunction, and then the Supreme Court overturned that. But it's still...
Right.
It's still in the courts.
Up in the air. But for now, at least, he can go forward.
Yeah, it was a 6-3 decision with the Supreme Court.
Right.
And it was down party lines again.
Right.
I mean, it's just...
Yep. It's not
even
good.
the court has become political.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We keep talking about it. The political tentacles are everywhere on everything, every aspect of our lives. It's ridiculous. Really is. You can't go anywhere, do anything without government somewhere.
It's almost, it's like 1984 is actually coming true, the book, the Orwell book. It's kind of scary.
Yep. The thing that changed me, and I don't even know if they do it with the schools, but back in, I guess it was probably 9th grade, freshman year, or maybe it was sophomore. I think it was freshman. They had us read Animal Farm.
Good book. Yeah, we read that too.
Great book. And that changed my whole aspect on.
Did it really?
Yeah. It was just something that hit me that, and I really wasn't political. You know what I mean? It was, but just the actions of what happened there. If you haven't read it, or if your kids haven't read it, I strongly suggest
it's a must read
to read, and it's good for the young people because it's made with animals and examples, and 1984 is a fantastic book as well.
That one scared me when I first read it.
But it may be, for me anyway, for my taste, I had to read Animal Farm before I read 1984 to kind of get the gist of everything, the examples with the animals and the farmer, and at the end of the book, I don't want to give the book away, but what the pigs do at the end of the book,
right.
and it's pretty good, pretty good.
So, getting back to this thing with the Trump's, fighting in the courts about, So it's basically about getting rid of government waste.
Mm-hmm.
And I can think of several examples of government waste. And one, I have a buddy that I grew up with that he was in show business for a really long time. And he wound up, I don't know why, but somehow he wound up at the Department of Defense in Washington, D.C. His job was to go to trade shows. That was the whole gig. It was like go to trade shows, set up a booth, and have a little booth there for the Department of Defense to get contracts. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And the guy's got a full boat pension.
Right.
God bless him.
Right.
But talk about a waste of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and what they try to do is get your emotions involved by, well, these people aren't waste. They're people. They have families. It's not the concept of hurting the people. The people got sucked into this.
Right.
Because the government
Absolutely.
expanded, and they got drawn into this.
Well,
and now they're stuck, but...
Hey, God bless him that he had a great job all those
Yep.
years and he got a pension. Hey, I'm not holding
Right.
it against them. I just think that having a professional meeting planner for the Department of Defense is kind of a waste
No,
of money.
I totally agree, and I think that should be...
Well, do you remember,
gone.
when was it? A couple of years ago. It was some government thing. It was in Las Vegas, and they got busted because they were, having this lavish party. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
went to some convention or
Right.
something, and they had
Yes.
like these suites with the booze and
Yeah. I don't even remember if that was...
I forget what department it was.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was... I know there was a couple with sayings on Secret Service and stuff. But
Yeah, they were having parties too, like
Yeah.
in Brazil.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
And we're paying for it. We're paying for it. I mean, do you want to have a party?
Well,
You're
I think
off
that's-
duty.
I think that's different.
Yeah,
but on
right.
your dime.
That's what I'm saying.
Not on the government's dime.
It's the same thing we talked about the last podcast, we were talking to the one gentleman and, with his kid. Well, I'm going to Ghana to teach math or something. Well, okay, but it's on your dime, not mine. You pay me back. So,
Yeah, because the gig paid like nothing.
yeah.
I keep saying gig. His job didn't, would have paid nothing.
The cough button. I'll have to talk to the crew.
But yeah, so I think that's what this is all about. Is that and they're screaming and yelling that because he's bypassing Congress with this, and it was an executive order. So I think that's where the rub comes.
Yeah. Well, that plus if people have to go out and actually support themselves with their trade or their experience or their skills, it may be, and they start paying taxes on having to be resourceful for themselves instead of living off somebody else's taxes. Maybe that may sway their little lever they pull in the ballot box too. So,
Good point. Didn't even think of that.
I think it all goes back to ballots and bodies and keep staying in power. So the more people that actually fend for themselves, almost.
I mean, if you look at take one building in Washington D.C. and count the heads and how many people are actually working there, it's insane. Meanwhile, where was it? They had a cave like in rural Pennsylvania somewhere.
The salt cave.
Salt
mine.
The salt mine, where there was like a handful of people doing, what was it, pensions or something, right?
Yeah, I never did look to see how many people were there, but there was a lot of people, but everything was manual.
Exactly.
And
it took them 10 times longer to process somebody's retirement.
Right. They could only do like 8,000 or 10,000 a month at max to go through their retirement.
But talk about government waste.
No, absolutely. We use technology.
And that was uncovered during the whole Doge thing.
Yes. Yep, and all this stuff as well. It's somebody counting flies or doing something like that. Do we really need that? Does the taxpayer have to do that? Because I'm sure all these jobs could be done by a capitalistic company.
Oh, I'm sure.
That
Outsourcing. You
The
mean.
problem is...
You're talking about outsourcing?
Yes. But the problem is their employees actually have to produce.
Whereas the government ones don't.
They don't necessarily have to. Now, all the government employees are not the same, but I met quite a few that are not, the
Stellar.
sleeping 2 hours a day because they're working so hard.
Ooh.
I think.
So talking about government stuff, right? Getting back to this real ID thing. So, according to the way I read this whole thing about real IDs, you can't fly without one. You can't go in a government building without one. So now, if you go to the post office, that would be considered a government building. Can you go to the post office if you do not have a real ID?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go to the Social Security office without a real ID?
Right.
What's going to happen?
I don't know what the long-term goal is on that, but yeah, that's a good point, is to force everybody to get the real ID. And what's the difference between a real ID and another ID? You still have to show your birth certificate,
Right.
Driver's license or form of ID there. So I don't understand what background
Now, somebody just told
into.
me recently they went to go get a real ID. So one of the things you have to take is a birth certificate. They had their original birth certificate from 1957. They wouldn't accept it because it didn't have the right kind of raised seal on it. So they had to go back to whatever town it was, from where they came, where they were born, to get a new birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
This is ridiculous.
So that it's very interesting, with voting as well, because you have these places that you don't need any type of ID to vote, yet that's a government function.
Good point.
Is that gonna overlap into that? I don't know.
But you need an ID to buy cigarettes and buy booze,
Right.
but not to vote.
Right. Not to vote.
I needed ID to get a hunting license.
Mm-hmm. Need an ID to buy a firearm. You need an ID, like you said, alcohol, tobacco. They scan your
See, now that I
ID
won't
now.
let them do. There's a couple stores around here, not the state store. Now, Pennsylvania is weird. I'm still not used to it. If you want beer, you go to the beer store. If you want like hard liquor and wine, you can go to a state store, which the state runs. I guess the state oversees the beer distribution thing. Anyhow,
You
there's
still
a
need a
couple,
liquor license, I believe.
yeah, but there's like some of the grocery stores actually sell wine and beer. And what they will do if you buy it is they will actually scan your driver's license. I won't let them do that. It's like none of your business. You go to the state store, buy hard liquor, they don't even,
Yeah, that's true.
they don't even ask you for it,
That's true.
which I find kind of odd.
Right.
But I don't want somebody scanning my driver's license.
So what's that all about, too?
I don't know.
I didn't put that together with the state stores, but
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been carded? No.
no. Nope.
Yeah, what is, if anybody knows?
Yeah,
in the
that's a good
comments,
question. That's a great question.
Why would a grocery store actually scan your license, but yet the state store that sells hard liquor doesn't even ask you for it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that if you looked like you were underage, they'd probably ask you.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sure. But
I just find it comical.
in these other stores, you can't buy anything. It doesn't matter if you're 80 or if you look like you're 16.
Right.
They ask you for your ID. So
It's just bizarre. Yeah, but they scan it. That's
Right.
the part that I don't like.
unless it's a CYA type of thing, that they're just
Maybe, but still.
we scan everybody so that way.
Yeah, but where's
there's
that
no
information
question.
going? Because on that
Right.
script
Oh,
on the
yeah.
back of your license, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That I don't know. Good question.
So if anybody knows the answer to that
Yep.
one,
Leave in the
please
comments. Get a hold of us.
speak up.
Mhm.
Send us an email. Put it in the
Yep.
comments.
Louder at podpinions.com. That's
There
the
you go.
email to go to.
Yeah. Yeah, our website, podpinions.com.
Yep.
What else is going on? The 20-year-old, well, actually, it's over 20. When was 9/11? Or when was the shoe bomber dude?
Oh, yeah.
That was a
I
while.
don't
Richard
remember.
Reed,
Yeah, Richard Reed.
the weird British guy.
Yep. That wasn't long after.
Right, it was around 9/11.
Yeah.
So this guy, if you don't know, right after 9/11, there was like major airport security.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, Richard Reed, was caught with bombs in his shoes and tried to ignite it on the plane. I will never forget this. And he had matches or something, and he had a fuse. I mean, it was... You have to see... Type in Richard Reed shoe bomber,
Yeah.
okay, and you'll see they have pictures of these shoes with the fuses and stuff. It's really stupid. But because of that guy, that's where this whole thing, you had to take your
all
shoes off at the airport.
Right.
And then they put them through the scanner.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, they're changing that. So you're not going to have to take your shoes off anymore. Unless they think there's like an issue.
Right.
Then maybe they'll ask you to take your shoes off.
So it leads me to believe, like, they're not just going to let anybody just walk on with a potential of a bomb in their shoe.
No.
There's got to be some kind of technology that they've upgraded to be
Maybe.
able to, be able to tell if somebody's at a risk of, hey, come over here, take off your shoes. It's got to be something.
So it should be, and they were talking about the whole thing with carrying liquids on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they limit you to, I don't know, whatever. But what gets me is you go through the checkpoint, right? And then you get to the restaurants and all that stuff. So now I buy a cup of coffee. It says Starbucks on the side or Dunkin' Donuts or Dunkin'. I'm not a Starbucks guy. And so they won't let you carry that on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You already went through the checkpoint.
Right. But you could order a coffee on the plane.
Yeah, but the coffee on the plane sucks.
Well, yeah,
it's terrible.
But still, it's the point of.
Yeah. Ugh. Airport airline coffee? No. No. So, but Christy Noem said that in the past 20 years, technology has improved, like you said. So they probably have something
Right.
that can detect that.
Right. I would imagine that's
Like bomb-sniffing dogs.
Yes. Right. No, exactly. And maybe they're going to have more of them. I don't know, but
So anyhow,
it would
good
be
news,
nice.
though.
It
You
would be
don't-
nice you don't have to take off your shoes, so you can leave those socks you had on for a week. Get on a plane, you're all good. You don't have to.
Show your crunchy toenails to everybody. Oh, that was wrong. Those
Yipper.
yellow, crunchy.
Yeah. But hey, less things for the airline employees to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, right. Look at those beautiful feet.
Yes.
Oh.
Exactly.
And then this was great. On right before we came on, I just happened to look at one of the news outlets, and it just popped up as it refreshed by itself, and CIA director, former
Yes.
John Brennan, and former FBI director James Comey are under criminal investigation with the Department of Justice. How good is that?
Well, we'll see where it goes.
I can't wait.
We'll see where it goes.
Both of those scumbags should be in prison,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
And Brennan was part of the 50 people that signed the
letter about the
letter.
Russian collusion
Right.
nonsense.
that has been debunked for years now.
Yeah, but they're still going with it.
No, I know. Yep, because people still believe it.
That blows me away.
Well, they turn on a channel, and that's why the channel feeds them that propaganda, and that's all they go with.
So they're thinking, they're not really saying like what's going on, what they're investigating. However, I'm guessing, and from what I've read, that it's about making false statements to Congress. Although Comey got a pardon, did he not?
I believe so. I think
And
he was part of
did
that group.
Brennan
I don't
get
know
one?
if Brennan did. I'm not sure.
So how's that going to work?
Yeah, well, I guess it's going to depend on this auto pen thing, because that's also high on Trump's list. It seems like he keeps talking about it. So
About the auto, yeah, but
Yeah.
again, Trey Gowdy 2.0. Mouth goes, and then nothing happens.
So we'll see what happens as far as with this, if that goes anywhere. If they can connect this, and then they have to go after the auto pen for actual, is it legal or not? You know, that's all going to be intertwined.
This is going to be. This
It's
is
like
such
it's like a
nightmare
spider
mess.
web. It's just like a spider web. I mean, it's all these strings everywhere, and they're all connected together. So they're just going to have to go one by one and try to connect it all. And it is all connected. It's just you have to connect it.
I can't believe these guys have to deal with this crap. But current CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred evidence, evidently, of wrongdoing by Brennan to FBI Director Kash Patel for potential prosecution. So, and then a criminal investigation into Brennan was opened and is underway. But the DOJ sources declined to provide any further details. So it's unclear if the investigation spans beyond the alleged false statements to Congress.
And that's, it's interesting because one of the first things Trump did is remove all these security clearances.
For all
From
those
these
guys.
people.
And they all got really angry.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of
And now they just got the Supreme Court nod to go ahead with downsizing the federal government employees. So it's going to be interesting, the people that are embedded into the federal government that may be supporting people like Comey and Brennan, if they're going to be part of the cuts. Because then they don't know what's going on inside.
Oh, good point.
So, again, it's like the
A
spider
chess
web.
game again.
It's the spider web, and you just have to go string by string. And, it's just been a progression of, well, you got to do this first, and then we're going to follow up with this and this and this and this. And we kind of talked offline about the Epstein thing. Is that actually kind of being pushed off to the side because we have to focus on certain things first? I don't know. I'm not sure what their
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
game plan
you had
is.
also mentioned that the Epstein thing, they could be saving that for like right before the midterms.
Yes, right before the midterms. That's possible. And
But that's kind of slimy.
yeah, and I don't know that it's going to sway too many people that are.
If that's the case.
Right. You may solidify the base you have, but I don't know how many people are going to switch over. So, I did
I need some microplastics.
I did have some thought on that, and maybe that's not the case. But if there's international players that are intertwined into the Epstein, maybe we have to take care of this
You mean like Prince
first,
Andrew?
Right? Well, there's got to be more, I'm sure, if there's a list. And,
Yeah, but he was obvious because
Right.
there were pictures.
But what I'm saying is the ones that they may not have as obvious players, maybe this is somehow going to connect to that as well. And
Be
yet they have to
interesting.
wait to progress to that. It's.
But is that tied to the Comey and Brennan?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they hid stuff, if they're making up stuff and they hid stuff.
Because I had heard that when Kash Patel moved into the FBI building, and then Bongino said something about it, that they found boxes and boxes of stuff that was never filed.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like hidden away somewhere in
Right.
a room.
Right.
And they were just like, oh my God, what's this?
Right. So if everything disappeared, where did that go?
Yeah, I don't know. And it kind of, he mentioned it once and then poof, never mentioned it again.
So if Trump wasn't part of Putin and Putin's puppet,
but they're still calling him that. That's what blows me away.
But the history, if you look at their history, everything they project onto somebody else is actually what they're doing.
Right.
So are they actually Putin's puppet? And so that...
You're talking about like Hillary, and because that's when this whole Russian...
Hillary and
this is back to
Brennan
2015,
and,
2016.
Yeah, all of them. Is that the real thing that they're trying to hide and project onto Trump is what they've been actually doing. So
good point.
That's going to be interesting to see what they come out with this stuff, because if their actual goal is to have Putin influence them on what they're doing, then obviously that's treason, right?
Yeah, but we don't have firing squads anymore.
Yeah. Well, going to prison is just fine with me for now. So.
Oh, absolutely. But if they go to prison, but there's always a chance of getting out.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Firing squad, there's no getting out of jail.
Right. I just haven't been able to kind of put the pieces together as far as what their connection to Putin versus what's happening across our country, how that's connecting, because from what I see, I don't see Russia as a full-blown communist country anymore. I mean, obviously, Putin's in charge, and that's it.
Yeah, he was the head of the KGB.
Right.
He's not a nice guy.
But there's yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it's going to connect, but it's got to be something that they're projecting, because that's their history. That's everything that they've done. If you're a racist, it's because
they're racist.
They're racist. If it's, Russia, it's because they're Russia. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And it has to be it's almost like we progressed very slowly to get to this point, and it's like they say, don't wake a sleepwalker. So you got to progress back slowly, so it's not the shock and the because people aren't going to want to believe it. They're not going to want to believe
people
it.
Still believe this whole Russia collusion thing with Trump.
But there's more and more people seeing or understanding that they did investigations and they cleared them.
You haven't been watching Facebook much. These
people
are crazy.
That's the people who just don't want to believe what they're...
Regardless of what happens, right?
Yeah, it's just they have
so now,
this in their mind.
All right, so now how does this tie into the whole Iran thing? So that kind of just went away real conveniently.
Mm-hmm. Well, Iran was our ally, and if you really look into what's coming out and on the interweb, thanks Al Gore.
Thank you, Al Gore.
With all these podcasters coming out with people that are former CIA, that are former government employees, or some kind of knowledge of the military, and seeing what has been done in the past for overthrowing countries or overthrowing leaders.
Right. So the Shah of Iran, he got ousted. Right. So, and he's now dead. But Obama gave this regime like billions of dollars. Now they say it was their money, but he didn't have to give it to them.
Correct. But again, America has been viewed as being, too good for this stuff. But we have our agencies that have gone into countries and
Well, yeah, look at the whole Bay of Pigs nonsense.
Overthrowing leaders of the country, installing another leadership. The Taliban, all these, groups that have come up. It's because somebody's no longer in charge, so they can move in and take over. And if you look at some of the documentation that's coming out now, how we've supported that move, and then all of a sudden now they're an enemy again, or now they're our enemy.
Well, yeah, like Osama bin Laden.
We helped
bin Laden.
Put them in power.
Yeah, we put Osama bin Laden in power to fight the Russians.
Right.
And then after that was all over, then he turned on us.
And what happens is you're ensuring that there's going to be conflict, so that way you always ensure that you can sell weapons and use weapons.
Well, that's huge. I mean, war is good for the economy.
Trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. So,
but no, I was just curious what your feelings were about this whole Iran thing with Russia, because they're kind of...
Well, I think Iran and Russia are going to be... I think, they are meshing together.
And you throw China in the mix.
But their goal, I think, is to overthrow the dollar by their...
Devalue the dollar.
Right. Well, and eventually put in a new global dollar.
Well, I think that's why they're pushing cryptocurrencies.
And,
I could be wrong.
They have, what is it, a BRICS? Is it called BRICS? They're countries together for, maybe I'm thinking of something else, but it's...
That was England.
Was it England?
Leaving
yeah, that's right. That's
EU.
BRICS. I don't remember what the name of it is.
It was
but
Brexit.
But there is a coalition of China and Russia, and I believe it's Iran.
And North Korea, wasn't it?
That they're trying to start a global currency to overthrow the U.S. dollar, which has been the global currency for decades. So if they can do that, that's probably what the plan is there. The problem becomes, because the U.S. is the biggest consumer of goods from across the globe, if you start devaluing the dollar, then you start having issues with China supplying all this stuff across the globe. For instance, China being the big dog in the game, and then so they're hurting themselves if they devalue the dollar, because then we're not going to be able to buy as much, and that's going to affect their economy.
It's just a
right. And I don't think
circle the drain and go down it.
Right. So I don't know if it was going to be like a military, might thing over the economy thing. I'm not sure, but I think they've tried to overtake us financially. And
this happened even when we were kids. I remember stuff being made in Japan. That was the big one at first.
Right.
And then China overtook it.
But the problem is China became the supplier so fast. I don't think they've planned to actually have a solid plan to really take us over as financially, because we consume everything that they produce, and if they don't sell it,
now they're buying like all our farmland up.
Well, they're buying our farmland. They've created islands. They built islands that they can now claim as Chinese territory, and they put missiles there and military.
You know what amazes me about all that is, I've thought about this a lot. China has how many billions of people as their population, right? You would think with all those people, they would stand up to the government. Because the government's this big, yet the population is like this big. So you would think that they would stand up somehow.
Everybody talks about, well, we have to give the land back to the Native Americans. And that's a perfect example. If each of the tribes had actually done what they did in Little Bighorn, was a group together,
we wouldn't be sitting here talking.
We wouldn't be sitting here. But they didn't. And it's the same thing with the people. If we don't group together here, or if they don't group together there, the people in charge are going to keep being in charge and do what they want to do. It's a game. It's behind a curtain. You know, the Wizard of Oz is just a guy with controls, and everybody's afraid of it, and they bow down in front of it. But it's really just
smoke and
people,
mirrors.
Right? And that's what it's always been. That's what it's always been.
Yeah, but the problem with it is that lots of people can die because of that.
Right, exactly. And it's not the people in charge, it's the citizens that are controlled by the government. I mean, just when was the last big, I guess, major thing that a country got together on itself and took over the government? Was probably like the French Revolution, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones.
Yeah,
maybe
there's
smaller
ones
countries here and
but
there.
As far as
Vietnam, well, that went the other way.
That basically wiped out the government control,
right,
and installed the citizenship back. I mean, even this country, you know, England was in charge over here until, you know, the people here, the colonists, said enough. And it was a very small amount that really overtook the biggest government entity and army.
The biggest army and navy in the world.
So it can be done. It's just that you have to have enough people to understand what's going on to be able to do it. And they didn't have technology back then. They couldn't track exactly where everybody is. They couldn't.
Yeah, now you get an app on your phone, and
right.
That's creepy. Like we have this app for the family, right? So I can go on there. Life 360, I think, is what it's called. So it's a GPS thing, and I can go on there and see where the kids are, where they're driving. I can see how fast they're going. Right. You know, it's just, but it creeps me out.
Yeah.
Because if I can see that,
if you can see it,
somebody else can see it too.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's handy.
Yes.
And it's kind of a safety net to know where your family is.
Right.
But
how did we survive without it before it was connected?
You know what's really weird is if I forget my phone, good God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yep.
I've done that a few times, and it's like, oh my God, I feel lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, wait a minute, you were a Boy Scout. You know, you're not going to get lost.
Right. Yeah.
What do I need it for? I don't.
Right. It's all up here. For a period of time, it was about 3.5 years. I was with somebody. We gave up our cell phones.
Did you really?
Yep. We shut them off, and we were either at work or we were at
How did that
home.
work out? Did it drive you crazy?
Worked out great for us. Everybody lost their frickin' minds.
Really? Because they couldn't get a hold of you.
But they could. They just couldn't text, or it was just a mental thing that they could push a button, even if we didn't answer, because you don't have to answer every call you get.
True.
You don't have to answer every text you get. But it's just that
mental thing. Yeah, but I feel compelled. If somebody texts me, I feel compelled I have to answer it.
And there was like a 20-minute span.
See, I just got one.
There was like a 20-minute span from work to home that you may not be able to get in touch with me by phone. But it was like we lost a couple like friends over that.
You're kidding?
Yeah, no. It's like you don't want to talk. I'm so insulted. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. nuts.
Well, I've seen it where, with friends, like we'll go out to a restaurant or something, everybody puts their phones in the middle of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And it can get really weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's a thing too. If you go out to a restaurant, just stop and just look around and see how many people are.
Well, I think I told you this. We went to this big resort over here. We went to met a friend at there's a steakhouse in this one resort. So we met him there. And the table next to us was this family. There was, I don't know, 5 or 6 people, 2 parents and the kids, right? And the kids there was a little one, maybe about like 5 or 6. Then there were 2 teenagers. And there was another one, there's like 3 teenagers. They were all sitting there like this, all through dinner. And we all just, wow, look at that. Like they're not talking. They don't even acknowledge each other's existence. Right. The waiter came over to take their order, and they ignored the dude. I couldn't believe it.
And, yeah, I got one for you, too. We're at like just friends and got together and kids and whatever. People were having conversations at the table. There was a couple texting parents and kids, looking at their phones while we're talking, didn't really think of nothing of it. And then I found out that as we're talking, the parent and the kids are having their own little conversation, not even focused on what was going there. They were talking back and forth to themselves. It wasn't even like they were texting a friend down the street or something.
They're texting each other and they're sitting across from each other. That's messed up.
Yes. So, it's really gotten...
That's like, no, that's just wrong.
So if you guys have done that, stop.
Yeah,
stop doing that. Talk.
Yeah, it's really, pay attention. Just go out, next time you go out, just take a look around and see what's going on.
Yep.
Put your phone away and just like pay attention to your surroundings.
And then if you want to see how technology has affected people, just tell your friends and family, tomorrow I'm cutting off my cell phone, I'm not using it anymore, and see what happens.
I can't believe you lost friends over that.
Yeah.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah, it was nuts.
I'm going to try that, though.
Yeah, try it.
Just turn my phone off for a day and then watch everybody implode.
You don't even have to, you could turn the ringer off or whatever, turn it off, because that way they don't see if you read the text or whatever. But just tell people, I've had enough of the technology. I'm going off the grid, and I'm cutting my phone off tomorrow, and see what happens.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Obviously, it won't work to anybody that's seen this, but
yeah, right. But how many people are watching us right now? We made what, $1.10 last week?
We're about the money.
We're getting up there.
It's about the pinions, the Podpinions.
And then, speaking of Podpinions, I have a good one on this one. Biden's doctor was asked to go in front of Congress to testify on his mental acuity.
Biden's mental acuity, right?
Thank you. And you know what I meant.
Yeah.
So, and you probably knew what I meant. So, what happened was when they said that he wouldn't get executive immunity, he said, no, I'm not showing up. So now they subpoenaed him, and he has to show up. The guy's name is Kevin O'Connor. Dr. Kevin O'Connor was Biden's doctor while he was president. So the guy, he's supposed to testify about cover-ups or alleged cover-ups of Biden's mental decline during his presidency. And he doesn't want to do it. And this is going to get really interesting. So he's refused to appear voluntarily. So now he was subpoenaed. And his lawyers now petitioned for a delay. Now, what's that all about?
Right.
What is there to delay?
Right.
To get your story straight with somebody else?
Right. Obviously some of us paid attention and saw it.
It was so
the
obvious.
progression.
The guy was like a walking, talking bowl of Jell-O.
Yeah. But it wasn't until that debate that actually everybody got to see.
Yeah, on national TV.
Right.
A meltdown.
Yep. So this is going to be very interesting what he has to say in Congress. Again,
Trey Gaddy 2.0.
yeah, Congress really can't do much about it, but if has he ever, well, he had to sign documentation saying that Biden was physically and mentally fit, right?
Was supposedly.
Okay.
So if he comes into Congress and lies,
Right. Or if he comes into Congress and tells the truth and what he documented was lies,
oh, good point.
that may be where they're going. You know what I mean? So
Either way, he's doomed.
Right. So is he going to lie in Congress, or did he lie on the stuff he signed off on?
I don't know. So, but if I got this correct, the way this progresses is let's say he lies in Congress, or they find something amiss, so they can refer that to the Department of Justice to prosecute him.
Right.
Now, whether the Department of Justice does or not
Right.
is a whole other ballgame.
Right. And then,
Which is what happened with all the stuff before. It was referred to, and then they dropped it.
and then if he did basically falsify documentation that he was physically and mentally fit, then you have him in a position of saying, all right, well, who put you up to this? And then yes. So,
no, it's full circle.
yeah. So then he may be able to shed some light on who was actually running the country, or who put him up to.
I heard something. Most of the people in the know are saying it was Jill Biden, but
I find that hard to believe.
yeah, but she was running cabinet meetings.
Yeah, but
What was that all about?
do you really think Jill Biden could have ran the country?
No.
So somebody behind the scenes had to be pulling the strings.
She was like another
But
puppet.
she was maybe put as the fall guy. I don't know.
And her
fall
ego
girl.
is like over the top.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who better to put somebody in that think they nothing can take them down?
But I remember seeing footage of her in the cabinet room, sitting at the head of the table, running the meetings.
Right, running the meetings, but did anybody follow any of the
but
directions?
What was the first lady doing in a cabinet meeting in the first place?
I agree, but again, who is really running the country?
Now,
That's who I want.
I want to go.
It wasn't Jill Biden.
No.
I mean, she may have been the face that they're going to pin it on,
I think it was Barry Soetoro.
but it was not
That's
Jill
my
Biden.
guess. Barry Soetoro.
It could be. But even
Barack Obama, for
even
those of
him,
you.
you have people that have been in the government 30, 40 years that he's taken his cue from.
This was true.
It's
You're talking about the career government worker people.
that is unseen,
The ones that we just talked about that are going to be losing their jobs.
unheard. Right, exactly. Unseen, unheard, but they're making bank from favors or whatever. Those are the people that really have to take it on the
So maybe
chin.
that's why they're getting so bent out of shape over these government cuts.
That could be. That could be. Again, if they're not in that position anymore, then you can put somebody that actually wants to do the job correctly, and then you're not feeding anybody on the outside information.
This should get very interesting.
Yep.
Yikes.
It is a chess game. It is. It's one big taxpayer paid chess game. And the problem is
It's exhausting, though, to watch all this.
it is, but it just shows how bad the citizens allowed this or how bad the citizens were watched the hand over here misplayed or propagandized or whatever, that they weren't even paying attention to this stuff. It's between the media, between the politicians on doing their reality shows every other day on whatever network. It's they've been able to burrow themselves into our government, and I think this is a way to get
start unraveling all of it.
Yeah,
could be,
because if you don't get rid of them, they're just going to wait you out. And that's what happened with Trump the first term. They thought they got him out.
And they didn't. Actually, I really think that Biden getting in there in between was a good thing.
Oh, no, absolutely. It was probably...
Because if Trump just had two back-to-back terms, I don't think that all of this nonsense would be exposed.
And how incompetent he was a real help to trying to expose all this stuff.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But then we talked about this the other day, that I said, what's going on with Trump and Elon Musk? Mm-hmm. And you said this was a diversion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not convinced that they're not trying to create some kind of, show to keep everybody that's really not, I guess, on Trump's side, but to kind of divert their eye over here, because then, Elon's coming back to our side, and, he's exposing them, and so that they can concentrate on stuff like this. And it's got to be with the government agencies, anybody embedded in the government agencies going to think that now Elon's going to be against Trump, so they can kind of start working whatever they need to do to go that way, and that's going to expose them as well.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. I don't know. You see the what do they call the part of the police enforcement? They put a female cop on the when they do the sting.
Yeah.
I think it might be something like that, where they're creating this, and these
for
people
prostitution rings.
Yeah. And then somebody pulls up and they offer them money, and then bang, done. So it may be some kind of sting operation that way. I hope it is.
I hope you're right, Bruce.
Yeah,
I really do,
because they're not paying attention to all the propaganda nonsense. These people that are working embedded in this are not listening to Fox News or CNN.
Oh, no, none of them. They're doing their own thing.
They're having their goals, so they're not paying attention to all the noise on the outside. They just have a focus on that. And it might be that somebody as big as Elon Musk actually gets their attention, that now they can start maneuvering.
Now, is this a Podpinion or a conspiracy theory?
Yes.
Never know.
We have run out of them, so we might as well start one.
Start a good one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all right. So now you and I have been talking too. Now we're going to get on this religious thing, because I have some questions here. We're talking about, well, everybody knows what's going on in Texas with the flooding, and these kids dying and all that. And my big thing is, if there's a God, why would he allow this to happen? And you said free will, but I don't buy that. I just don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they allow evil to happen? Since God created the flood, why can't he stop it?
So,
good question, right?
Like I said, I'm not a religious scholar, so I don't have all the terms and sayings and
no, I'm just thinking this is a really good discussion, because I'm sure there's other people out there that feel the same way I do.
The only thing I can compare it to is what a government would do is control. And if you have somebody in control, then you're really not able to have a free life. And if you are religious, then this is just a period of time until what you've been told was the next step. So it's completely up to you whether you believe that or not. Whether there is a next step or whether there isn't, and based on that, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So the only way you can truly express yourself or be truly free to choose that is there's no interaction. It's just what happens. So that's kind of what I was getting at with the free will. It's bad things are going to happen, and that's part of life. But if you believe that there's something better or more out there, then what we're feeling now is not necessarily what the outcome is going to be ultimately. I don't know.
No,
we're all going to find out.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
anybody
either
really
gonna be
knows, but it's just a good question.
Yes, no. If there is nothing, I'm not going to know it. So, but if there is,
this whole Bible thing. I'm stumped because we were talking earlier. Adam and Eve, right? Two people on the entire planet.
Mm-hmm.
They have two kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Abel and Cain. They go off to the land of Nod. There's all these people. Where did they come from? It's stuff like that. It's just,
No, yeah. And again, it's like, we've talked personally about the church versus religion, or not necessarily religion, but
spirituality.
Yes. So you always have that interaction, or that humans have implemented themselves into the theory or the belief or the non-belief, or you have to do it this way. And even in the church, there's hierarchy.
Lots of politics in the church.
Politics. So how much is that tainted on the Word of God progressing? I'm sure there's gaps there.
Right.
So we might not know the whole story, much like we don't know the whole story on all this stuff, because humans have not done the due diligence of being actual factual or keeping facts current throughout history. So again, I don't know. This is my opinion.
No,
Podpinion. My Podpinion.
Or God.
I have a belief.
Godpinion?
Yeah, I have a belief, and
well, I do too. But it's just something that it always comes up, and my wife will say to me, "Well, it's free will," and
yeah.
But it just doesn't make sense to me, because if there's a God, and why would he let all this bad stuff happen to these little kids?
I know. It's not
just hard.
Something.
It's just hard to grasp,
right? And
I know I'm not alone feeling this.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, you hear it all the time. There's people that have stopped believing just because of that fact. But again, if you have somebody controlling everything on that point, for instance, there is no real free will at that point.
True.
Some other entity is controlling what the outcome you have versus what you actually choose. And everything we do, whether it's making a right turn or left turn or setting our alarm or setting our line, it's our choice. And because of that choice, there's an outcome. And depending on where you choose every second of the day, whatever you choose, there's going to be an outcome. And if somebody controls that or something controls that, then you really don't have multiple outcomes that can happen. It's just all guided,
Right.
you know. So yeah, it's not a doesn't make me feel good to say it's free will necessarily.
Well, that's what you hear
because
from religious people.
Because
you know.
of this
When I say
happening
religious
with
people,
kids.
when I
and-
say religious people, priests, priests,
Mhm.
rabbis. It's free will.
Mhm. Right.
This little kid did not decide to die that day.
Right.
in a
Exactly.
flood.
Exactly. But hopefully, because of free will and innocence, there is something better.
I
I'm
hope
hoping.
so.
I'm
Now that
hoping.
we completely bummed you out,
Yeah. Exactly.
it's time to wrap it up.
Yep.
But I just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
And listen, maybe some people got some comments on that. Again, it's well, we're both open to hearing
Absolutely.
all sides of it. So that's it's a very deep subject, and we're I don't think anybody's going to really find out until we find out,
Yeah.
or not.
On that note, we'll see you next
All
time.
right, have a good one. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. If you like what you see, best way to support us is to make sure you follow us, especially on Rumble.
Also on YouTube, TikTok, X, Instagram, and Truth Social.
We're Podpinions all across the social media platforms as well.
That's right. So don't forget to click the little notification button. It's that little bell thing. And you'll get notified when something new comes up.
That's right. You don't want to be last and have everybody else hear our Podpinions before you.
That's right. You want to be the first kid on the block with a Podpinion.
That's right. And don't forget to leave your comments.
That's right. Comments are important.
Yes.
Slam the follow button. This is Podpinions.